the game comes at you very quickly, no matter how much preparation is taken. Here we go, folks. MLP, New York, Carolina Hogs, Hustlers.
Big drive from Tammy there.
Look at the speed ups there.
Oh.
Emmrich just incredible reset on the smash.
Yeah, it just lingered over the kitchen. Some of those can be deceiving where you think you're going to smash it in, then you realize too late that you can't reach it. I think that's what happened there to Jansen. A little long on the return. Heather just in complete control of the resets there. She puts that one to the net, but commanding presence on the court so far.
I was just going to say, that was a pretty incredible start. 3 points on the board.
Jansen puts that one long.
We've been seeing that all week, too. Tuionetoa. You leave something a little too high over the net, and that speed up is inbound quickly.
And that'll happen when it just sped up at you. Sometimes you're trying to put it back, and it's easy to put long.
Beautiful smash.
Defended well by Jansen. Back to the softie. Another lob. Ed is right there.
A little more controlled this time.
Just didn't have the distance. Nice rally there. They were trying to test her with the lobs, but between the smash and the reset, showed she can handle it well. We'll see if they keep trying to do that to her.
Hogs get service back here.
3-1-1.
Schaefer's actually doing a really good job at keeping Tammy a little off balance on that cross-court dink.
Yeah, you can tell they're really trying to push it towards her, push it towards the line, keep Etta out of the play.
Sometimes that's all it is. A little game of keep away.
Yeah. That could also great placement from Etta there.
Very, very well done.
But yeah, you have to be careful with the keep away too, because sometimes what that does is it allows the stronger player to time that out and jump in at an opportune moment. So you don't want to get caught too much. So we'll see again how much they keep targeting Tammy here.
Just like that.
Exactly.
You can see her. You can see
that
the hand twitching every time that ball comes cross court. She was hungry. She wants it.
Yeah. And that eye contact. They were staring right at Tammy. They knew where they were going there. Etta saw what they were doing, and she just capitalized.
5-1-2.
Beautiful reset there again. Trying to slow it down. It was a good, I mean, that's the idea.
If Etta's having one trouble thing now, it's a little bit on those backhand dinks. She's hit the net a couple times there, but otherwise Carolina seems to be in complete control. See if New York can put a dent in here. too excited for that
Hey,
one.
1 point at a time.
Yep.
Ooh.
Good drive from Schaefer. Handle it. Ooh.
To be able to track
there.
It's so impressive to be able to track that net cord hop and still deliver a beautiful speed up in return to that.
Right.
It's why we watch.
2-5-2.
Big serve from Schaefer. Ooh. Leaves it high, but again, defended well by Tammy. She is digging out constantly.
And it works.
Yep. Sometimes that's what it is. Survive, survive, get to that next shot.
And also, if you're the Hustlers, how do you not keep just peppering that
That's what you have
same
to do.
spot? Nothing wrong there either. Just really, really good defense.
All right, it's a battle of wills. How much defense and who's going to break first?
Absolute rocket of a drive there from Tammy.
Beautifully reset by Jansen. But Tammy gets the point, and that's the break. Side switch.
6-2-1.
Curious to see here if New York switches up their tactics a little bit.
Oh, so it worked. Worked a little bit there. They just went back, targeted at a couple times, and that speed up.
6-2-2.
Schaefer forced her to put it to the net. Great two backhand, but defended well again by Emmrich.
Right to the hip.
Sometimes those are the shots that can be tricky because you got so well on that two backhand, and you almost get caught that second thinking you put it away, and one of the rules of pickleball is it's always coming back, right?
Yeah, of course. And you hear players talk about patterns a lot too. You can see her hands, they were there. Just not quick enough. That was pretty. Now, I don't know if that ball was going to stay in or not, but that's also.
It was close enough. Sometimes you just have to go for it and force you to think. And
if I can make my opponent think it's in, that's all that matters.
Exactly. And there's just enough pace off it that you're going to wonder, okay, could it dropped? And move on.
2-7-2.
Big serve by Jansen Fink. And Emmrich puts it in the net.
3-7-2.
3-7. Speed up just on the net. That game of margins, just that half-inch higher off the net, that would have been a clean put away right at Tammy's feet, but instead skips out of bounds. By Tammy, great job. Schaefer went right after her because she knows she's off balance.
To be off balance like that and still deliver that shot.
Right.
Testament to her history.
Exactly.
But that one was just delivered right in right in the sweet spot for Schaefer to throw the put away down.
Exactly. Either way, she wasn't hitting it back clean, so then that sets up the next point, right? You're always thinking, okay, not this one, set up the next one, the one after that.
Ooh,
just a little too high.
I think headhunting there.
Do have to watch out. Sometimes it does clash that ponytail. We saw one of those the other day.
Yep, yep. Saw that. Replay in the shadow there. Ball just kissing the ponytail a little bit.
That is a point. Great Tui there.
Hustler's just delivering an onslaught.
Just caught the line there. Anyone that plays a sport, if you don't go to bed at night thinking about the ones that probably went out or the ones that
Sal,
you let
don't
drop
bring it up.
And they slip in, just like that. So we got 3-8 Hustlers.
Second serve. 3-8-2.
Into the net 2 times in a row for Schaefer. She's showing a little bit of emotion there. See if she can do something to reset here.
Gotta shake those off, but Carolina.
You do have to shake those off. It's the next time I always find myself after dumping it into the net, leaving it my next shot a little bit too high to try to.
Exactly, you want to try to overcome.
Exactly.
Oh, I feel like I let my partner down, let me win the point, but each point is its own point. Great defense there, but Etta just relentless. Great backhand and then just a clean smash. You know, she didn't hit with every ounce of her, but just enough at the feet. Put it away with no chance of coming back. That was a great two-handed return by Schaefer.
Just about
really
to say
kissed
that.
the line.
Almost touched the baseline there. Great return. Another great return.
Oh,
that's unfortunate.
And that'll bring it to game point.
Not much you can do about that. Even with all the athleticism on the court, that is a tall order to get to that ball.
There's going to be some of those you're on the good side of, some of them on the bad side of. And then that's just a straightforward to put in the net. Those are going to happen too, so.
Fortunately, on that side of the court, it is within the budget.
Yep. Just over the net. They're off balance, but resetting themselves.
Lob
Another
up.
lob. Etta's there.
Amazing off-balance return.
Very clean.
Out.
Schaefer, right move there. She saw the side of the court open just a little too much, and that'll be women's doubles. Carolina, 1-0 lead. Play up there. Those guys do a great job in coaching, and Eric's a big part of that. He's just a good guy all around, so I'm happy to see him here. Here we go. Tries the ATP, but there.
0-1-1.
New York is down 0-1 due to the sub rule. Since Eric is playing and not on their roster, they automatically lose a point, and Eric forces a point right there. He's gonna tie it up. there. Just
that was close.
Yep. Great to get that paddle on that. But Ben, I mean, has a cannon of an arm, but that precision too, just right between the feet, is really not much. Zane, great reach by Zane. Had that gap down the middle, paints the tee in the back. We got 2-1 Hustlers.
2-1-2.
Just Zane ripping that.
Great spot.
How
Just died. It almost looked for a second like Ben was going to get there, but
1-2-2.
Same spot almost.
Yep. Zane just puts it down, quick side out. Just taking over the court. Flex just went a little bit long. Looked like it came close to catching Bellamy's
Look
shirt.
close from here.
Yeah. Between either, catching him or catching that. These are being Forsythe there. Just gets it over. Ooh.
Big leap.
For guy Bellamy's size, he didn't have to leap much, and
that
Zane just did not put it high enough. And
any higher, and he's going over the tennis facility.
Yeah, it's not easy to allow guys like this. Ooh.
That dangerous spot again.
Yep, exactly.
He's got that number, and he's done it twice already. That's got to feel good to have those, mid-match in-game reps of success, knowing that's a spot that he can go to.
Ooh.
Great eye there, good call by
exactly. Eric put it just kind of chicken wing Ben a little bit. Just couldn't get it clean. Went a little deep, and
goes to show you that the same tactics work at every level. You make it awkward for your opponent. Even a guy like Ben gets caught out like that.
That's right.
Trickling over the net right there.
Oh, he handled it easily. Oh. And tried to get out of the way, and sometimes you just can't. One thing I've noticed too, Ben tends to play big on the left, but with a guy like Bellamy and his reach, Ben doesn't have to do as much here. So, keep an eye on. Certainly the more seasoned player, but Roscoe he doesn't need to.
I mean, we've seen it too. Historically, Ben is known for sliding and
shadowing
shadowing all
80%
the way.
of that court.
Yeah,
and he's not doing that here. So,
do you think that's tactic or just synergy and trusting your
I think it's a level of trust. I mean, Roscoe's had some really big games this weekend, and sometimes, I mean, it is just the length of the player. I mean, you can actually see right there where they clashed a little bit. The problem is when you have someone as big as Roscoe, if you have a partner on the right that's lunging for those backhands, sure, then you want to get in and make it easy, but you can get to those forehands and get in the kitchen. Beautiful, beautiful. Topspin, speed by Zane right there. Roscoe can't handle that.
A little long there.
Yep.
3-4-2.
Oh, tag. You are it.
Zane's done that a few times this weekend. He'll use every tool in the toolkit.
A drive that far too. Is that tactic, or is that just a forehand drive and Ben got in the way?
I think that's tactic. I do think, I mean, look, you hit it at the opponent, right? Mm-hmm. Not saying that he's trying to hit him, but hey, great, you clip him, that's a point. If he tries to stab at it awkward, we all, like we were saying before, sometimes you just can't get the paddle out of the way. And sometimes, look, even if you hit a couple of those out, at least it shows, hey, here's my power, this could come at you at any point. you know, just there, the Ernie. Look, he didn't score on the Ernie, but hey, I can do that. Now it's every time you have to make your opponent think about where you're hitting it. Could this come back? How fast is it coming back? So, you know, you can eat a couple points long and still work it out there.
Ben comes up a little short there.
Yeah. Second serve to Carolina. You know, New York is grinding these points out. 5-4.
They have a great pace,
yeah,
between the two of them right now. That is a
Eric
terrifying smash
yeah.
to be on the receiving end of.
Yeah. I've been on the receiving end of that. I assure you it's a lot faster for a 4-0 like me than probably Ben Johns, but
it looked fast enough
he
from
couldn't even
the
handle
10.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's it. Bellamy puts it into the crowd. We have 5-5.
And coming on, local hero, as you know, said before, it's got a feeling amazing to smash a ball on Ben Johns.
Exactly. At the very least, you'll have that, but they're looking to take this
Ben
to the
with the off-speed smash.
Yeah. He just couldn't get that over the top there, but if he did, that was curving in. So he's hit a couple of those nice ones. And appropriate amount of dip. Second serve. New York would love to take this lead to the side switch. Clean two-handed. Defended well. Great speed up. Wow. Great backhand defense that came right back at him.
Again.
They are challenging him, and he is taking everything they give. Just a little bit long. He had the right placement. He found the...
Nothing you can do about that. Just have to work through it. Big shot from Ben.
Ooh.
Insane.
Again, that speed up, I mean, that one he put long, but those are the ones if you catch the right spot, you know.
That one,
you
in
find
my
a player.
eyes,
That was too much.
Targeted. That looked targeted.
Yeah.
See Ben, I wonder, you know, it looks like Ben's testing Eric a little bit.
Yeah, Ben's definitely testing Eric, but he's also going after Zane a little bit. Zane is a dynamic player, but can be prone to those mistakes. And look at that eye. I mean, Ben didn't even turn around from our angle here. That just went out, and Ben just knew. You know, you play enough, and
Recognize the speed, recognize the height, let her go.
And I think he also knows to set that up. You know, when you get to a level like that, you know the kind of player you're against. If you hit a certain way, it's coming back a certain way. So now Carolina going a little bit of run after the break. Ooh. That's just tough.
And it'll happen.
Yep.
That'll happen at any level.
Yeah. It actually looked based on the angle. I mean, Eric was not too far in the middle there. The angle that could have gone out, you know, unless that really was going to crisp the edge. That's a very hard shot to make from where Zane was standing too. Ben puts it hard in the net. New York back. A couple points here, and we'll be right back where we were momentum-wise. Tough to get to the net.
Here comes Eric with the serve.
Ooh, Ben just put that away. This is what we saw yesterday with the Hustlers, you know, hanging in early games, and unfortunately, you know, hey, they're there. And then unfortunately, you know, 11-4s, 11-6s, things like that. So Carolina would kind of love to take the momentum here. There are, you know, just a couple of those misses from New York that Carolina's not making right now. But there's a high flick from Ben. And second serve.
9-5-2.
And just going after Eric, and Eric's putting everything back where it was. Zane, great defense. Ooh.
Ben doing a great job backing New York up, but just wasn't enough.
Yep. Great defense there. I mean, look at that. Oh, it looked like that rally was going to keep going, but I mean, sometimes this is what you need. Even though it's 5-9-1, they didn't get a point out of it, but hanging in there. Ooh. battle. I've seen a lot of jokes around the old pickleball memes community about calling these guys the Seattle Pioneers again. But so far, it's looked great this weekend for them, and we'll see if it keeps up here. And just a double backhanded roll flick. It didn't work on Eric, and then it worked on Zane. That defended well by Eric, and then Zane just chicken winged. Ooh, missed the Ernie. Eric still had a chance at it. And that'll be game Carolina.
Zane went after that one.
Yeah. He wanted to, look, you're down 10-5, and Dominique maybe have the better shot at getting the second matchup, so.
Who knows, maybe it was strictly a, we want to put Ben up first against Eric. Maybe they felt like that was truly a better match, and felt like Zane might have been picking a piece of Ben's game apart or something. We don't truly know, but this is already shaping up to be a good
Ben
match.
paints the line there. And once again, Eric's presence does bring the Hustlers down 1 point. Nothing personal against him, just the sub rule here. So that brings Carolina to a 2-0 start.
Big stride from Eric there.
Yeah. Maybe a straddle Ernie there.
Yeah.
Jungle Cat didn't leap there, but still, as long as you don't touch that kitchen. Ooh. Great flick by Ben. And
I have a feeling if that came back over the net, that was going to be much harder to defend than Ben was expecting. So he's probably very happy that did not happen.
But again, just like us amateur players, you go home with a lot of ifs in pickleball. If only this, if only that.
Some days, that's all I have.
If only the net was 3 inches shorter.
Ben's smart to recognize. I think having a little bit of a tough time on that high side of the net.
Yep.
5-0-2.
I'd like to see Eric jump in a little bit more here. It's not his team. I understand sometimes you're on that left side. It feels like being a little hoggish, but he does have the bigger presence. Ben does seem to be going after her a little bit, but I mean, look, you go there and.
6-0-2.
There we go. 6-0 Hogs.
There you go, Forsythe. Just like that, comes out the gate hot, and you need that.
Set him up, knock him down.
Yeah, not a point, side out. You got, just that little inch of momentum.
0-6-1.
Catch it in an awkward spot. It's hard enough to get your hands that fast to get over there.
Absolutely.
And then even harder to get the right angle on the paddle.
And I feel like, a lot of players, not Ben John, the way he went down the line there, Ben came right back on it, but neck cord for Ben. It's out of bounds there. Gets hustled on the board. Yep, 1-6-2. There you go, net gods. Give them a little bit there. Ooh. Great job there. Etta jumped in for the Ernie, right? Right there, Eric now has to think, ooh, something there. Now he thinks maybe she's off balance, goes to it, and she's like, no, I've been here, done that. Right there to defend it. Sets Ben up for the clean winner.
Cannot leave it that high for Eric Forsythe.
Just showing that Jungle Cat power.
7-1-2.
Forsythe, sorry, showing a little bit of emotion there.
Yeah, you know, he decided to kind of take over, and then he kind of ducked away, and then Jansen Fig was kind of left like, now I got to eat Ben's shot back.
Yep.
You know, where were you? You just were standing in front of me.
Nice control.
And some of that just not playing together regularly, you know.
I mean, in a game like this, as with many, you know, team-based games, synergy is one of the most important aspects. Yep. That flow state you talked about.
Yep, there's a timeout, Hustlers.
9-1-2.
Another one of those might have gone long. The way Ben can do things. Just catches the paddle.
10-1-2.
Eric's still frustrated. 10-1-2. There you go.
That's that sliding that you were talking about earlier.
Yep. Exactly. Just getting a little more aggressive in there. Like I said before, that synergy, getting comfortable with a new partner. You know, they've played with the weekend now, but still, there you go. They're getting fired up.
2-10-1.
That ball just came back dead from Ben's slice. Ben's still kind of collected out there. And again, Etta, not as involved as Ben, but just whatever comes her way is coming back clean. Puts it away.
Ben just looked so patient that entire rally.
No, he's just showing no emotion on his face. Getting the job done right now.
Start out.
Can't really be mad about that. He's hit a couple of those this game already. It worked for him already. It's the same spot he went to earlier. A little long there from Eric. That'll be game.
Game for Carolina, and they're walking away. All points today.
Time in on game 4. Hogs have service.
Quick 1-0 for Carolina.
Beautiful shot there from Schaefer. Hard to tell exactly from the tent, but man, that looked very sharp.
Yeah, great angle there.
And another just absolute rocket.
Yeah, both women on New York have been hitting those drives, trying to test the reactions of Carolina. That is something they've done a lot of success today. There's another one. He watches it fly out, and we got 2-1 New York.
2-1-1.
That cord there from Zane.
Yeah, to this point. Ooh.
Tries to go for the, I mean, what can you do at that point?
Nah,
you try to get a paddle even in the area code of that ball.
Let it linger again. You got Bellamy, I want to say he's 6'5", and just axe handle smash. Look at that. Oh. Stretch about as far as you can get with that.
Right.
Clip that net. I mean, 0 angle all around.
You got to brush that one off.
Yep, exactly.
That's
that's pickleball. You can hit the ridiculous get that creeps over the net, and then all of a sudden you miss a quote-unquote routine return. Bellamy again going back to that 2E smash. Schaefer's handling it well. Now he's got him on his heels, and look at that. Net cord goes the other way. You're never out of it. See, you just, survive. looks like, you know, you've got Roscoe Bellamy and his tennis background.
2-2-2.
Firing a rocket at you, just get it back over.
Just give it to the net. Let the net do the work.
Yeah. Another great angle.
And, you know,
Schaefer doing a really good job moving Emmrich around, and that's opened up a lot of shots for Zane.
Exactly. Regardless, I was just about to say, regardless of the match, they have great energy on the court
Yep,
right now.
yep.
Great pace.
And look, for the Hustlers, you know, we talked about Eric, you know, great story. We'll see how long, you know, Donald's out for, and you know, but for the rest of the team, you know, this is what it's about. It's building that synergy. You know, they made the decision to blow up their whole roster.
Big lunging stride from Zane.
Couldn't get the ATP there, so yeah, no one that New York drafted or traded for last year. They made the decision to drop all of them and do a complete free agent draft. And Donald Young, who's a tennis veteran, but relatively new at pickleball. Zane Ford, again, high energy players. Helena Jansen-Fink and Dominique Schaefer, again, strong tennis females, trying to build a team here. So, you know, it's one win at a time. You look at end of season, next season. Again, Grand Rapids tournament coming up, maybe make a dent there, try to go for some prize money because you're playing well. So every point matters, every game matters.
Schaefer's a little shaken up after that point.
3-2-1.
Just like that.
Yep, yep. Again, when he can put that there, he just has that nice top spin. Roll down the middle. It's not a lot of firepower on it, but just clean, doesn't come back up high, and great placement.
Yep. 3-2-2.
Beautiful angle there. Is that just a little
It
wide?
looked like a little wide, yeah.
Man, that had to have been close, though.
It was close, yeah, I think.
So controlled.
Yeah, Schaefer had that. Hers seemed to just kiss in. She had that nice looping double backhand return, and Ford just missed on the other side of that.
Tammy there with a
beautiful bullet.
Yeah, just no other word to describe that one.
5-2-2.
Line drive 2 inches above the net. Sharp ankle dinking battle. Bellamy's looking ready to pounce. Oh, gets it right at his feet.
There's the reach.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Dug that out because of that reach, but again, now it lobs it up and set that up 3 points later.
Pull the guy one way, make him shift over because he has that reach, give it to his weak side, and that was a very textbook easy point.
Right, right. So now he's getting hungry into it, and then Zane just says, oh, opened up that sideline for me.
Second, third.
Emmrich there, amazing.
She's having a lot of success just putting it right at Schaefer's feet.
Right at the toes.
Schaefer's having a little bit of trouble digging out those backhands in the transition zone. Return, we got 3-5.
Good point pickup there.
3-5-2.
That landed in.
It did land in.
4-5-2.
Talked about before, trying to lob Roscoe Bellamy. She actually did it. So.
Yeah, she might be the one and only. I'm not sure. I mean, it's like we said before. You don't necessarily have to hit the wow. You don't necessarily have to hit the put away every single time.
Yeah. Look at this, just hits the net. Pickleball God said, you know what, New York? Let's keep it going in front of your hometown crowd.
Exactly. At what point do we think the net is a paid actor?
Oh.
Leaping. See that again here. Leaps over, clean.
5-1.
Got 5-5.
Tied it up.
5-5-1.
Great serve. There it is.
Look
From
at that.
What was that, a leaping Ernie to an ATP?
Yep, yep. Now New York takes the lead into the break. You hear some of the music. Championship's getting going, but we appreciate you hanging in with us here for the conclusion of this match. Ooh.
Bellamy is not having any of that on that point.
Beautiful
all
angle there.
over the court there.
They say place over pace. That one had both.
Yeah. Ooh, just outside, side out.
Again, New York had that momentum going in, side out. Sometimes it works against you.
I mean, that had to have been extremely close, right? Hard to tell from here, but I wouldn't change a thing. Oh.
Yep. No, you can't overthink that serve. You let it go and ooh.
Set up and put away. Bellamy again. High return.
Yep, it gives him time to get up there. Ford's been doing his best work today. Oh. Let's see what the call is here.
After review, the alcohol stands, loss of free challenge, 2 remaining. 3 free challenge remaining. Resume play at 8-6-1.
No shame at all in challenging that, though. It was a
Might as well.
It was a really beautiful put away, and you have nothing to lose.
3 points away from going home. You don't need timeouts. It's close enough.
Time in. 8-6-1.
3 points out the break for Carolina. You do want to get it back from New York. See the frustration for Schaefer, as we talked about before. You know, just you missed one. Now you're trying so hard to get it back. Sometimes you might miss it a little bit longer again. Just get back to what you were doing.
You don't want to take too much off your strokes either. You know, you want to stay in it and still find those putaways and those angles.
Ooh. Ford sends that onto the tennis courts.
They love that.
Yeah, we do have some tennis and pickleball coexisting harmoniously side by side here at the John McEnroe Center.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
Day's not over.
It'll be worse if one of the tennis guys puts their ball over here.
That is true. Once again, can't leave it that high for Bellamy. You will find it.
Just like that, 10-6-2. Carolina's a point away from the sweep here. Ooh.
Speed up right to Schaefer.
There it is, into the net.
There it is.
That's all she wrote. It's a little disheartening for the Hustlers there. They took that lead into the break, and then it was just all Carolina after that. Just like it was done all match long.